Welcome to the Mother Daughter-ish podcast. It's your mama's favorite podcast.
And the podcast your daughter always wanted.
This is Miss Dawn.
And Aungelique.
From the 713. Houston, y'all. Get connected and stay connected weekly as new shows debut on Sunday, Wednesday, and please check out our Saturday Out and About showcases.
Enjoy the show. Please subscribe, like, share, comment, and tell every woman on the planet that you know about our show.
Here's our show for today. Hello, mothers and daughters. Hey, I got something good for you today. Again, as usual, today I'm going to talk a little bit about becoming an author. Not on a personal level because I have written over 28 books, but I'm talking about just the steps, a few steps to get you there. Now, I do get this question all the time from people about how do I become an author? Like, once I know what I'm going to write, once I get it written down and typed out or whatever way is best for you, what do I do from there? Well, I am actually going to sit here and I'm going to walk you through. Now, listen, I'm not going to walk you through every single little detail because then this would probably be a 2-hour, possibly even 3-hour show. But I'm going to walk you through as if you called me and you asked me, how do I get my first book published? The first thing I would tell you is, what do you want to write about? And then once you tell me what you want to write about, I would say, okay, do as much research as you can on that particular topic from your personal view, from what research you can get done, and maybe even ask 3 or 4 other authors. It's always great to get other people's opinion who's already been there and done it. Then the next thing I would tell you is decide what size you want this book to be. If you don't know about sizing, you can go, for example, I'm going to talk to you from perspective as if you were going to use Amazon KDP. I would say go over and see what all their sizes are that they have. Pick the one that you feel like when you found that book on your shelf, that was the same size and you said, this is the size I want. Then decide if you want a hardback or a paperback or a Kindle, because depending on which 3 sizes you get, the book sizing, when the person does your cover, they're going to have to follow certain parameters. Okay. Again, I'm not going to get too deep with every single little detail because again, we could be here 3 hours. So then the next thing that you want to do after you decide what size, you decide what you want to write about, you did your research, you asked a few other people, now you are off to write your book. Once you write your book, decide how many words are going to be in the book. Yes, you can go and cheat and you can find out, okay, if I want my book to be 200 pages, then how many words do I need? And you can find that out. And then once you start writing, you'll figure out. The next thing is just write it. We're not even talking about the aesthetics of the book. We're not talking about the formatting of the book. We're not even into the editing of the book. I'm saying just write it. Just simply just go get on your computer and start typing, or get your tablets and start typing. Now, I know you're probably laughing and going, what do you mean write? Well, listen, Bill Clinton's book was over 8,000 something words or pages or something, and he wrote everything in a spiral tablet and then gave it to somebody to type it out for him. Now, when I first started writing books, I literally hand wrote everything, then went and typed it out, only because I could write faster than I could type at that time as far as like my thought process. But then as I became easier to type faster than to write, then that was better for me. But then I also felt like I always, and this was back in the day now, 2008 is when I wrote my first book. But I always thought that, if the computers crashed and everything went to where, then at least I would have my handwritten stuff. And then if somebody ever came back to say, like I stole their material, whatever, I could bring out my spiral notebooks and say, you're lying. I wrote all this stuff literally now. So then the next thing that you want to do after you just write the book, then decide how you want it to look. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail on that, but I'm basically talking about aesthetics. Do you want pictures in it? Do you want the pages to be split down the middle? Do you want cover pages? Do you want, like, what do you want your book to look like? You want it to be just plain writing? You want it to be fun? You want it to have a certain kind of font? Like, what do you want this book to look like? Once you get all of the mechanical stuff out of the way, again, I'm not going through the whole list, but once you get all of the mechanical stuff out of the way, and you say, okay, I have it formatted, I have it edited, it's exactly where it needs to be, the pages are right, somebody has done the cover, that's on a separate, PDF or SV, whatever, whatever you put that in. Amazon, I would just tell you up front, if you're going to upload a cover to them, they just want a simple PDF, it's just a simple PDF with the size parameters of what they need. So let's say your book is ready, it's edited, it's formatted, you could do it yourself or send it off to an expert. Up to you. You could be the expert yourself. You could train yourself. Then the next thing you want to do is you want to take that book and you want to create you an account with Kindle Direct Publishing, which is KDP, which is also Amazon. You used to be able to go to Amazon.com or create, create whatever, create something. I forgot. Create Space is what it used to be back in the day. But now it's KDP, which is Kindle Direct Publishing. And I think it was just a way for them to separate the book publishing from the Create Space stuff. I don't know why they separated it, but it's separate now. Okay. Then the next thing you need to do is you're going to go through and you're going to complete your application online. And it's not an application to accept you, it's an application to accept the parameters of the book that you are trying to upload to them, because they're going to ask you a ton of questions. I'm not going to get into all the questions because it may take you an hour to complete all that paperwork, but they ask a ton of questions about what name you want to use and how much you want to sell the book for. And I mean, there's a lot of things you have to sit down and think about your book. What do you want to sell the book for? You want to sell it on the United States, or you want to sell it globally? And if you sell it globally and this place, for example, takes 3 taxes out of it, how much money do you want to make on the backside after they get their money? I mean, it's a lot that you have to consider on the back end. And this is where people get stuck, is they have the book written, but they don't understand what to do with it or where to upload it from there. So let's say you're going to upload it to KVP. You'll upload separately your PDF and then separately your content. Now, they're going to go through and they're going to either approve or disapprove of it, depending on, are the parameters correct? Is the size that you say you were going to use correct? You have to do things like choose the page colors. Do you want white pages, brown page, like off-white? What do you want for your pages? Once you already chosen the size, it's going to know if it fits into the parameters or if you got to go back to the drawing table with making it fit into it. And they do give you a preview and say, okay, it doesn't fit because we're showing you where it's cutting off your page, your work. You might be wondering, what's the hardest part about writing a book? I think the author is the hardest part, the getting the book done part, the deciding what message you want to put out there part. I think it's the knowing what you're going to do with the book after part. All the other stuff is just following a certain set of rules. Like when people come to me and they want to hire me to help them step by step get their book done and me tell them what to do next. I literally will send them a message every day saying, okay, today we're doing this. Okay, tomorrow we're doing this. And then when everything is done, okay, this is the way I feel like with this particular book, you should actually be marketing it. Now listen, every book is not marketed the same. So I don't want you to think that it is, because it is not. Every book is not marketed the same. And the reason is because it depends on who your audience is and who you're talking to. And the message that you give to one person, that might not be the same message that is intended for the next person. So it cannot be a one size fits all, unless the books that you write are only a one size fits all, meaning like the same topic or subject or something like that. So think about that. But the hardest part I find with people is to getting it done. And look, I'm not exempt from it. When I first decided that I wanted to write a book, it just took somebody saying one thing to me, and I was like, let me get over myself and do it. And the reason I didn't want to go ahead and write my book is because I felt like I have this mentality of the more you do, the more it's going to be expected from you. So I figured, okay, if I write a book, then I'm going to be expected to teach that thing. If I write a book, I'm going to be expected to explain that thing. If I write a book, I'm going to be expected to share that thing. I'm going to have more responsibility. And I wasn't sure at that time if I wanted more responsibility, but I knew that I wanted to write the book. So it's like, just get it done. And so It wasn't until I was in, I'm not even going to share that story, but anyway, somebody said something that really sparked an exciting interest because I've told that story before so many times. So anyway, but that's pretty much the preliminary steps of writing a book. But I would say come up with something that's your own. Come up with something that has more life examples that you can share. Come up with something that you've learned on your own. Don't regurgitate from other people. And here's what I mean from that. So I know a lot of people will take old books out of the public domain and then they'll put their own spin and twist to it because that book already has maybe 150 to 200 pages. And then they go in and they rework them. And now you got 300 pages, but you already had half of the book already done. And yeah, it's legal. You can go into the public domain and find books that are already written and already prizes and already really, really well-known books, and you can take them and you can put your own spin on it legally and then publish that book as yours. It is a way to publish and it's legal to do it. So I'm not saying don't do it because of those reasons, because it is legal. But I'm saying that if you're going to write a book and it's something, some knowledge that you want to put out, make sure it's your own knowledge. Make sure that it is something that you actually believe in. I don't care if what you believe in is how to make bread. If you have a special technique on how to make bread and how to get the edges crispy and how to do it under a certain dollar amount and how to be able to feed the whole neighborhood, write about that bread, write about the family recipe, and write about the person who created it, write about your ancestors and how many years they've been making this same bread, and write about how you said this bread heals, write about how you said this bread comes out so beautiful and that it stays fresh for 75 days. Write about that bread like there's no other bread on the planet that's better than that bread. Write about that bread like God came down and handed that bread to whoever you're talking to just to heal them. I'm saying that's serious, whatever it is that you want to write about. I know one time I wrote a book called Getting Back to Basics, and this was right about maybe 2010 or something like that. And at that time, I felt like everybody was getting so involved with their digital products and their computers and their cell phones, and that nobody was thinking about the basics, in the case that we had to ever go back to living off the grid and not having electronics. But my thought process is we need to still keep our life set up as if we never knew about these products. Now it's going to be a little hard for the young folks because a lot of them were born into it, but I feel like it's their parents' responsibility to show them that without your phone you can you can still survive. Without social media you can still survive, because we did it forever. So I wrote this book about getting back to basics, and it was just basically every area of your life, get back to the basics when it comes to living. uh, be basic about it so that once you do get wealthy, if you do decide to get the mansion, you still know how to live without the mansion. Getting back to the basics when it comes back to taking care of your health and everything. And I know there's a lot going on in the world with food and drugs and natural substances and all of this stuff, but what about back in the day when there just used to be natural healing and plant-based type modalities that we could use? I think in the book I also talked about, raising your kids and getting back to the basics of how parents used to raise their kids. Now, I'm not talking about anything specific like, oh, they used to whip their kids. No, no, no. I'm talking about just simply raising your kids without thinking that you can't do it or whatever, but that you can raise your kids to be good people in the world. In that book, it was just pretty interesting. I was just talking about that because the digital world was just really really coming in really strong, and we are right now where I was thinking we were going to be years ago. It's just that I've decided not to participate at that level. I am a person that I can be off of social media for a year and it doesn't bother me, and that meaning me posting or looking at what everybody else is posting, I don't care. I've tried it. I remember one time I was off of Facebook for 18 months and I didn't even miss it. I didn't go be nosy to see what anybody else was doing. I didn't care. When I finally got back on there, it was only because my car club had canceled their website because the guy that used to run it, he no longer ran the website. I don't think he was a member. He's not a member of our club anymore. And he went on and he didn't have a Mini Cooper anymore. So he went on to do something else. And so when they canceled the website because he was paying for it, then everybody um, had to go over to Facebook to see what our events were, posting our pictures, talking back and forth, answering questions for people who need it, looking for mechanics, just whatever we talk about in the car club. And so I realized at that point, oh my, because I was gonna go ahead and get rid of Facebook and everything and just, live a life with no social media, which would have been cool for me. And I'm talking personally, I'm not talking about professionally, because those are my personal account on Facebook. But even today, a lot of what I post on Instagram goes over to Facebook automatically because I set it up that way just to have some activity over there. But I literally haven't posted anything on Facebook in maybe 2 or 3 years, maybe 3 years. But what I'm saying about writing books as an author, you can sit down and actually create your own plan of how you want to do it. Because even after you upload the book to KDP and you start thinking about what's next, because there's always something next. Okay, I wrote the book, now what? Okay, I got the book situated the way it needs to look, now what? I got the cover in the back done, now what? I got everything inside the book, all the little tricks of the trade that I wanted to put in there, now what? I got the book uploaded to KDP, now what? I got the a list of who I want to talk to and what stages maybe I want to be on as a speaker, how I want to do my book signings. Okay, now what? Like, what do you want to do with this book? Like, I'll tell you right now, I never wrote a book to be a bestseller because that wasn't my jam. Like, that didn't light me up. It didn't excite me to think of being a bestseller. I wrote my books for three reasons. One, I got excited and I wanted to become an author. I wanted to add that to my life, being an author. There's certain things that you want to add to your life, especially when you're an entrepreneur, to give you the extra credit boost that you need. When I say credit boost, is it just gives people the credit to know that you're the expert in that field because you wrote about it. The second reason I wanted to write my books is so that I could be a part of this exclusive author club. And I don't mean specifically, I mean in my mind, to know that, okay, yes, I've written a book too. It just was a satisfaction for myself. I didn't have to prove anything to anybody else. It was for me only. The third reason I wrote my book is so that I could increase my speaking fees. When you are a professional paid speaker, and I'll just give a fake example, but let's say right now, every time you get on a stage for an hour, you're getting $3,500. If you are now an author, that $3,500 can now turn into $7,500 to $10,000. And then if you have breakout sessions and workbooks and you have classes, and you can sell a coaching program, you can sell a consulting program, anything that you can sell in addition, you now can be a $25,000 paid speaker. So there's a whole breakdown on when I train speakers on how to take your, $1,200 speaking engagement to a $25,000 each time you speaking engagement. So just imagine if you did 2 speaking engagements a month for $25,000, that's $50,000 a month. I know you may be thinking it seems unreal, but oh no, it's really, really real. Trust me, it's real. So the other thing about, becoming an author, if you haven't laid out a plan as to how everybody's going to know about this book, is it going to be through my private groups? Is it going to be through the general public? Am I going to set up some classes online where I can do a little bit of training from the book? Is this book going to be one that I do book signings all over the world where people actually buy the books while we're there? I become famous that kind of way? Or do I want to be rich? Do I want to be famous? Do I want to be an influencer? Do I want to be known as a teacher, a coach, a consultant? Like, what do you want to do with the book? So there's always, I promise you, from the minute you say you want to be an author, from everything that you complete, there's something next. There's something next. There's something next. There's something next. I promise you, there's something next. Then set up your goals, as to, if you do, let's just say, for example, you do want to do some book signings. Where do you want to do them at? You want to do it? Who's your audience? So let's say your audience is college children, college young adults, and you do your book signings on college campuses. You got to get approval to do that. So then let's say you do private events. You got to get approval to do that wherever you're going to host these events. Let's say you want to partner with Barnes and Nobles and some of those other people. Well, your book is going to be sold through Barnes and Noble, because when you set up everything on Instagram, I'm sorry, everything on KDP, Amazon, it's going to ask you, where all do you want your book to be sold? Do you want it to be sold in Canada, the US? You want it to be sold at all the bookstores? It's going to ask you every single question. And so when people go to Barnes and Noble and they go in the virtual part where you can order books online, they type in your name or the name of your book, you can actually order it off of their shelf, but you can't probably walk into the store. Now that's a whole nother topic. Again, I told you there's always something next. There's always something next. You can get a distributor to get you into Barnes and Noble and any of these other mom and pop stores or the big stores. It doesn't matter. Doesn't cost a lot of money either, but you can get your books in those stores. Yes, even as a self-publisher, you can get in the stores. You can find some of these boutiques that sell high value things, and you can. So let's say you had a book that teach people, how to dress how to dress rich without breaking the bank. So let's just say that's the name of the book. How to dress and look rich without breaking the bank. So let's say you got this elegant book and you're teaching people how to look good on a dime. Okay, you find your boutique that's fair in their price, and there are a lot that sell beautiful clothing that are very fair in price. You partner with that boutique owner and you get maybe about 10 or 15 of your books and you put them on consignment and y'all share the cost or however you want to do it, or you have them set up separately how they sell your book, whatever, that you can put little tags on the books, and you can set it up where it can digitally tell you every time, a QR code where every time your book is purchased in that thing, and then once you're in that boutique, and then every time your book is sold, then you can go and have your money sent to you once a month, however you want to do it. I mean, can you imagine how many boutiques you could sign up with? Even the ones that are online, they can have your book in a special part on their store virtually where people can buy the book. See, it works both ways. You're telling them how to look fabulous and rich on a dime. You're selling it through the boutique that has the fabulous, rich looking clothes on a dime. You're telling me that's not a good partnership. Something's wrong. So that's the thinking that I'm trying to tell you that you have to have when you write your book. Now, the other question that I'll get from people is, should I know all of that before I start writing? And I will tell you no, because I did the same thing. I tried to figure everything out before I wrote the book and never did get the book written until somebody said something to me that made the light bulb come on. But I would say do the reverse. Write the book, even if it's just in the baby phases of just it's on paper, it's not edited or anything. Write the book, and then I would say start putting together how you're going to earn money off of the book and how many multiple ways you can earn money off a book. And at the end here, I'm going to tell you a few multiple ways you can earn money, not all 100 ways, but I'll tell you a few, because there are over 100 ways you can earn money from a book. But I would say then put you a plan together on what you're going to do. Again, there's always something next. There's always something next. There's always something next. Even 10 years after you've written that book, there's always something next, because there's somebody that's going to discover it. And then they're going to say, oh my gosh, I see you wrote this book back in 2010, and we would love to have you come in to our group. There's only 100 of it, but we'd be willing to, pay to have you come here, fly you here, blah, blah, blah. It does happen. Trust me. I've been there and done that. But that's what you definitely, or the things that you want to decide. So I will say, write the book first, then decide how you're going to be paid off of it secondly. And before you publish it, though, already know that. Already know how you're going to earn money off the book before you publish it. The other reason I will tell you, and this is the final reason before I give you the tips on some ways that you can earn money off of a book, but the other thing I want you to think about is it really doesn't matter how many pages your book is, because if you did a Kindle version, they usually don't want those books to be more than 100 pages. Most of the time, just maybe 25 or 30. I mean, I've seen 20 and 30-page books that I'm like, wow, that was powerful message. That was good. It was pretty. It was a good looking book. It was something easy I could get and learn a message from and move on about it. But the other thing is that you want to get your book together, so that then if you want to, I'm going to walk right now into the ways that you can earn money, but you want to be able to take that book and create merchandise around it as well. So one way that you can earn money off of a book is becoming a professional paid speaker. The professional part comes in because you're the expert who wrote the book, so that's your professional opinion. The second way is that you can create a whole coaching and consulting program around the message that you want people to get from the book. Again, you are now the expert, so you have to take that and you have to own it. That's number two. Number three, you can take that book and you can create a podcast on it, and you can teach from your podcast and have people come in, experts, other experts, forums. You can do interviews, you can do all that kind of stuff, and everything could be based around this particular book. And then if you want to do a series on that, there you go. You've already got the base set up. You already got the podcast set up. And with your podcast, then you can turn around, and we'll talk about that later. You get paid from the podcast as well. The second reason why you want to Another way you can make money on a book is you can take that book and you can connect yourself to something bigger. So let's say, for instance, I just gave you the perfect example about you're going to teach people how to dress rich on a dime. So where are you going to get these places of examples from? Again, I gave you a great example: partner with boutiques. That's another stream of income. If you're partnering with boutiques and they're literally got the storefront virtually or physically to be able to promote your book, you've got it there. They didn't buy it. You can do it two ways. They can buy a bulk of books from you and sell them and then come back to you for more when they sell really fast, or you can put those books on consignment and you earn your money as they're sold one by one. Up to you, business end of the business. That's four ways right there. I just showed you how you can earn money off of a book. Again, there's over 100 plus plus ways that you can earn money off of a book. I'm going to tell you this last one and then I'm going to let you go. But listen, you know that people have taken books that they've written and films and movies have been created from them. I was thinking about this right now. It popped in my head because I was going through some audio books that I wanted to put in the car to listen to. And one thing that I noticed is that I had ran across an old CD audio book from Terry McMillan. And I remember when she wrote her book, and then her book turned into movie series and things like that. I think she had a couple of 2 or 3 movies from books. If you don't know who Terry McMillan is, she's the one responsible for Waiting to Exhale. She's the one responsible for um, A Day Late and a Dollar Short. Just those fun movies that are catered to women, I would say. Um, so books can be turned into movies and scripts, and you can actually sell your book as a manual for someone to create a movie out of it, especially if it's a biographical, especially if it is a book that can teach something, especially if it is a book that can give knowledge and people can take so let's say there's a movie that's already going to be written, but you have a program in your book that fits into it. It makes me think about that movie with Jennifer Aniston, and it was called Yes Man. So the movie had a romance to it, but then it also had this program in there where everybody was saying yes. Now you know that somebody actually had a program where they were teaching this yes method, but they brought that into the movie as a pivotal piece of the movie, because the movie could have, even if they didn't have this program in there, they could have alluded to the program and still gave us the love story with Jennifer Aniston, and we still would have failed for it. At least I would have anyway. But just the fact that we could see into the movie, and there was also a movie with Jim Carrey where he played this movie and that had this particular program in it. We could have watched that movie without knowing the program. So somebody created those systems and took those systems and put those in a movie. So that's what I wanted to stay on today about becoming an author. It's very easy to do now. It's very delightful to do now. It still lends you that credibility now. It still will get you places that you never knew you could walk your foot into the door of now. Oh, somebody did ask me, well, if I create my book, they were asking where all will it be, and I also let them know that your books will also be where people can check them out at the library, because the library does purchase certain books when it's in their system. You have to put it there. They will purchase a few copies, maybe 2 or 3 copies of your book for people to check out. And yeah, I know what you're saying. Who in the world goes to the library? A lot of people. A lot of people. My son just told me the other day that he's getting ready to create a book club in the library for those that are college age, and he wants them to know about Think and Grow Rich. He wants them to know about the 4 agreements. He wants them to know about men are from Mars, women are from Venus. He wants them to know about all these different books that I've been training him to read, that he's read in the last in the last year. I'll say he's been on a real reading journey, and I'm proud of him for that, because reading does change your mind, and for him it's calmed him down a lot. It's given him a different perspective on a lot. It's helped to form some of his opinions a lot. So I'm glad that he is doing that up in Utah. He just signed off with the library, and they are giving him permission to do a book club there. So I thought that was pretty cool. They have private rooms, at the library, by the way. So just in case you're wondering, like, I thought you had to be quiet at the library. Well, you do, but they have private rooms that they let you use for free, especially if you're in the county. Well, thank you, mothers and daughters, for listening to our show today. I hope that any information that I've given you today will propel you to want to get your book started, your workbook started, your classes started, your manual together, whatever it is that you want to write. Again, a lot of people behind the scenes hire book coaches. They hire people to walk them through step by step what to do so that it makes their life easy. I will tell you, hiring a book coach can cost you $7,500 or more, because that person is going to spend as much time as you need. Like I have people who say, I want to get this done in 45 days. And I go, okay. So then I have to reverse engineer their plan so that by the 45th day, we're just waiting on an approval from Amazon because the book's already uploaded 3 days before the 45 days was up. And I have people who say, well, you know what, I give myself 3 months, 90 days is good. And I go, okay, we'll put the plan together for 90 days. So if you come to somebody and you say you want to write a book and you want it to be done in 45 days, you want it to be done in 90 days, you want it to be done in 6 months, you want it to be done for a year, that book coach literally has to sit with you for 45 days or 90 days or 6 months or a year. So that's why it costs $7,500 or more for you to hire a book coach, because you're now taking away time that they have to schedule to make sure they meet with you once a week, to make sure that they're dedicating time for you and that they don't get so busy with their other clients that they cannot work with you. I prefer when somebody comes to me and say they want to write a book that they say no more than 90 days, I want to have this book up and going. I really, really like the 45 days, but everybody's not built for that. 90 days for me is fair. 90 days for me, we can work miracles. 90 days for me means that you are really dedicated to what you said you wanted to do. Sometimes when I hear people say we can get it done in a year, I almost feel a little bit of twinge of procrastination there, that either they'll do it or they don't. But one thing it is that in the year, think about it. If you don't get it done because you didn't get it done, you pretty much have wasted your time and the coach's time, but you still paid the money. So you got to really think about that. But if you had to go and figure all these things out yourself. So for some people, it may take them 2 or 3 years to figure it out. So in case you're wondering, why would somebody hire a book coach? The reason they would hire them is to help them to not have to go through all of the aches and pains of figuring it out. They can have somebody where it's kind of done for you, somebody there to cheer you on, somebody to walk you through it. And then I also say, if you're going to hire a book coach, make sure that coach has at least one book behind their belt. I don't care if that book is 40 years old, make sure they got a book behind their belt, because if they don't, then they're just talking from a perspective of something maybe they read, but there's going to be a piece of that they're going to miss out on being able to share with you simply because they didn't do it. They didn't get their hands dirty with it. So that's our show for today. And please support our podcast. Our Cash App is $MDI podcast. On Instagram, we're having a really great time over there, where we post about 3 to 7 times a day. Always informational, always fun, always funny, always good, always, thought-provoking type things. We let you know also when we have new show alerts over there. I post it every time. New show alerts are going to be Mondays, Wednesdays, Saturdays, Sundays. I'm sorry, Sunday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. I always want to throw in Monday. So I think when I roll out my book writing series and talk about the books that have changed my life, I'm gonna have to do it on a Monday, because for almost a year now I've been saying that we do a show on Monday, and we do not. We do it Sunday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. So anyway, yes, I will be rolling out a series the first of the year, just talking about all these 10,000 plus books that I have on my shelf that have changed and shaped my life, and why that reading was just life provoking. But join us over on Instagram at mother-daughter-ish_. So that's mother-daughter-ish_. Also, make sure on YouTube that you are subscribed to this channel, but even better than that, so that you'll know personally on your YouTube channel when we upload a show or when we go live, because that is coming. It is coming. Live shows are coming. I've been asked now 14 times. I'm keeping count. When I get to 100 people asking me, then I think we'll go live, because 100 people having a conversation with you on live makes it a lot more fun, interactive, because we'll be answering questions and talking about what you guys are saying and thing, and having a great time. So that is coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Also, some Instagram live shows are coming. There's a lot that's coming. We have a list of things that we're going to be doing. Angie says that she'll be back in September after she's gotten settled in her new place and all this stuff. She'll be back in September, so that'll be fun as well. Even if she just comes back for the Friday and Saturday, it's fine. Or if she wants to come back whatever days, but she's busy working on some things for herself, which is really awesome. I'm glad about that. But thank you for listening to the show today, and bye for now. And get those books written, and get them written now so you don't have to be saying woulda, coulda, shoulda. Bye.
Wanting to book us for your show? It could be an expo. It could be any type of women's event. Contact Miller Booking Agency at mail.com. We're looking forward to meeting and greeting with you. Hey, it's Miss Dawn. You wondering how you can support our show, Mother-Daughter-ish? We have Cash App, we have PayPal, and we do have Vimeo. Support our show so that we can reach out to more women. Our goal is to reach and build a community of 1 million women. Why don't you come on and help us do that?